everyone. Thanks for joining today. My name is Calo. I'm the Senior Manager of Creative Research at Corbis, and I'm here to do a webinar for you on creative research, essentially Creative Research 101. So just an introduction of the things that we'll cover today. Basically, we'll take a look at what is creative research. We'll go through our creative research methodology, and then I'll also give you a sneak peek at a Corbis macro brief. The latest one that's launched is called The Human Touch. So diving right in, what is creative research? Creative research is now an industry-wide practice that was born over 10 years ago when industry professionals realized that customer needs were not being met by simply reproducing the same types of images year after year. We recognized that we couldn't base future content needs on internal analysis alone and established a team to look externally to anticipate customer needs. Our primary goal is to analyze visual and cultural trends to predict the content needs of today and tomorrow. Creative research is equal parts market research and futurology, and it's a combination of qualitative and quantitative analysis to predict the future of visual culture. It's important to note the long-range forecasting associated with creative research, as opposed to the short-sightedness inherent of fads or phrases, and we'll touch on that in a minute. Creative research is not about tracking the latest fashion trends, diets, or exercises, though there can be some crossover. So let's talk about separating trends from fads. It's important to separate the fads from the trends. Fads are often fleeting trends with little staying power. Things like pink is the new black, hit TV shows like Jersey Shore, or our recent fascination with things like cupcakes. However, fads can often be triggered by larger underlying trends that may have a much larger, more significant cultural impact. For example, blue may be the new black because consumers find it soothing. When we look at the world that we live in today with war, terrorism, environmental disasters, multitasking 24/7, it really makes sense that our culture would respond by favoring a color associated with calm and tranquility. From a visual perspective, it makes sense that imagery that conveys these same concepts, if not using this particular color, would also be popular. So turquoise is the Pantone color of the year, and I just have a soundbite from the Pantone website about their selection of this color. They say, combining the serene qualities of blue and the invigorating aspects of green, turquoise evokes thoughts of soothing tropical waters and the languorous, effective escape from the everyday troubles of the world, while at the same time restoring our sense of well-being. So given what we know we're facing in the world today, it makes perfect sense that we would respond well to this type of color. So then diving into our methodology, our research methodology is very straightforward. We must study the past and the present in order to predict the future. So the first step in creative research often involves looking into the rearview mirror. The first step is sales analysis, which is really analyzing the past, where we look at top sellers, low sellers, and zero sellers to get an idea of the types of images that have been popular or not so popular with our customers. We look at how much revenue images generate, average sale price, and the number of times an image sells. The next step is the visual analysis, where we analyze our top-selling images by subject, style, and concept. First, we take a look at which subjects have been popular, things like business, lifestyle, travel, sports, nature. From there, we dig a little bit deeper to look at how these subjects are illustrated. Do they show people, groups of people, or no people at all? If there are people, how old are they, and what ethnicity are they? What are people doing? Really, what locations or regions are most popular? And then we look at style. We take a look at those top-selling images to say, are these images in color? Are they black and white? And we take a look at the composition and the lighting. Then, most importantly, we look at the concepts. It's really the final and most important step when we're taking a look at top-selling images to get a sense of what concepts were most popular. Because popular concepts tend to reach across any number of subject categories, it's important for us to know what concepts have been most prevalent. So examples of popular concepts might include teamwork, togetherness, success, connection, happiness, and relaxation. Any of these concepts could be conveyed through business, lifestyle, sports, or even travel content. In the same way that we analyze the past, we need to take our same methodology and apply it externally. So armed with the knowledge of what's been successful in the past, we take a look at the present. And to do so, we read newspapers, magazines, we surf the internet, we watch movies and television, paying special attention to the types of images that are used and the messages that they convey. We keep our fingers on the pulse of the visual and cultural zeitgeist. Then we take a look at the visual trends. As we're conducting research, we keep track of visual trends across all types of media. We collect tear sheets from magazines, advertisements, and brochures pretty much on an ongoing basis to study how our customers use imagery. As we did with our internal analysis, we look at the subjects, styles, and concepts conveyed, paying particular attention to trends in advertising. We also do a lot of reading to keep up on popular cultural trends and activities throughout a variety of industries. The types of things that we track are the most popular travel destinations, business trends, or sports participation. All of this information feeds directly into the type of content that we know we'll need to produce in the future. And one of the best ways to stay informed of current trends is through regular and ongoing communication with members of sales and research, as well as our customers. We meet regularly with groups in each region to discuss content needs and recurring image requests. So here's a look at just some of our top trend resources. Obviously, the media is a great resource for us. We regularly read the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal. We also mine census data just to get a sense of really what's going on demographically. And then we also take a look at trend organizations. Some of our favorites, just to share with you, are Global Futurists, PSFK, Springwise, the Herman Group, Trend Central, Trendsetters, Trend Watching, Data Monitor, and Iconoculture. So next we get to my favorite part, predicting the future. Analyzing past and present visual and cultural trends allows us to forecast future image needs. So basically, knowing where we've been and where we are helps us determine where we're going. The best way to predict the future is to take a look at what's going on in the world around us. Combined with the information gleaned from past and present analysis, current events are the strongest predictor of future trends as they play a very large role in the influence of our cultural psyche. We all know that before the global recession, we responded to images that conveyed the concepts of things like individual success and luxury, while in a post-recession world, people are emerging with new priorities that won't necessarily change as the economy recovers. Suddenly, things like money, success, and independence have become much less important in favor of concepts of togetherness, escape, and creativity. Similarly, demographics play a large role in predicting the future of image needs by telling us which portions of the population are growing. For example, globally, the aging population, or those over 50, is growing at a rapid pace. This translates really into a need for more images of matures and seniors. And then we have psychographics. So the most important factor of our emerging changing social behaviors is really psychographics, or the changing psychology of a demographic. So using the mature example that I just gave, we know that people today are not only living longer, but also living stronger and really enjoying active lives into and throughout retirement. And baby boomers reportedly see themselves as 15 years younger than their biological age. So this tells us that it's not enough to shoot more content featuring mature models, but that the images must illustrate the new look of maturity. So here's a look at some recent headlines and top stories. It goes without saying that our lives have become increasingly tense as we face the stress and fear associated with war, terrorism, financial crisis, and global epidemics. We're seeking safety and security wherever we can find it, and are placing increased value on relationships with friends and family, as well as personal experiences and time well spent. Conspicuous consumption is a thing of the past as we try to live more meaningful, responsible lives. Before we dive into the macro brief, I just wanted to refresh again, it's our goal at Corbis to predict customers' image needs before they have them. So to do so, we produce what we call macro briefs for our art directors, editors, and photographers. The goal of the macro brief is to identify an emerging macro trend with far-reaching implications across a number of subject verticals that will impact our visual culture over the next 2 to 5 years or even beyond. Selected themes will ultimately drive sales and marketing initiatives at Corbis, Past briefs have included renewal, which was about our increasing desire for hope, optimism, and change. One World, which was about how technology has essentially made the world a smaller place where we all share the same core values. And the Us generation, which was about how baby boomers are really shifting gears to become the most altruistic in history. So our latest macro brief, the one that we'll discuss today, is called Human Touch, and it's inspired by our increasing desire for more human interaction and experiences, really as a reaction against the ubiquity of technology. We arrived at this topic through internal and external analysis, which communicated a need for updated content conveying the concepts of family, friends, connection, creativity, authenticity, and humanity. So I'm basically going to run through a portion of the Human Touch presentation that was recently delivered to our content teams. This is how we present our findings in addition to the actual physical macro brief. So in recent years, our lives have become increasingly tech-centric. We connect with others via text messages and social networking sites, collaborate with colleagues through email and web conferencing, like today, and spend the majority of our most productive hours at home or work in front of televisions and computer screens. While technology has brought with it the benefits of convenience, flexibility, and global connectivity, it's also made us long for the warmth associated with more tactile experiences, or those things that have a human touch. As we seek more human experiences, we're slowing down and getting to know the people around us. We're embracing deconsumption and growing wary of mass production. The result is a rapidly growing interest in the power of human creativity, DIY activities, and the value, meaning, and authenticity associated with things like handmade goods. More than ever, we're seeing the world in a new way as we find meaning in the mundane and beauty in the simplicity of human experience. So, really less has been more for a while now. The impact of the Great Recession combined with our increasing desire for more tactile experiences has really placed a greater emphasis on the value of relationships, creativity, and self-actualization than ever before. Global economic uncertainty has solidified our appreciation for meaning beyond the material in such a way that we'll continue to seek human touch values even as the economy recovers and credit increases. So our new life priorities will show no sign of waning as we continue to search for meaning through our relationships, our hobbies, and personal experiences. While spending may increase, our purchases will still be driven by the key values of connection, simplicity, individuality, wellness, and wisdom. So as we continue to embrace a simpler way of life, there's a growing need for imagery that accurately reflects human touch values. So in today's presentation of Human Touch, we'll focus on ideas of connection, creativity, and essence. Our desire for things that possess a human element are best divided into those categories. So the first one is human connection. As social animals, we inherently crave the company of others. While our desire for affiliation isn't necessarily new, our culture is changing in response to global epidemics, environmental disasters, and financial uncertainty, all those things you saw on the previous slide. Placing a greater emphasis on connection than ever before as we increasingly seek comfort, security, and meaning in our lives. Technology is playing a large role. Our desire for connection is being influenced by the proliferation of technology. While the widespread adaptation of mobile phones, online gaming, and social networking sites has allowed us to connect with people the world over, it's also isolated us in a traditional sense. While our use of technology shows no sign of waning, our desire for connection has made us nostalgic for real human contact. As a result, more of us are deliberately unplugging during family time and vacations as a means of staying actively engaged when it matters most. Others are actually embracing technology and harnessing the power of the internet to connect with others in the real world. More people than ever will be online this year, but what's changing is that many of these people will begin to mingle offline and in person thanks to advances in social media and mobile communication. So as behaviors like these become more commonplace, the lines between online and offline will continue to blur, creating a culture that nurtures and celebrates human interaction. So that brings us to friends, family, and community, a huge component of human connection. The stress associated with hard times is driving the need for a strong support system of friends, family, and community. The recession has given us reason to pause and to take a look at the world around us, starting really within our own backyard. So this has spawned the local consumer movement and prompted us to really become active participants in our own communities. And our desire to connect, share, and engage doesn't stop at the local level. Volunteering rates are up across the world as more people recognize that the connection that exists between themselves and others. So here are the core values affecting human connection. Things like relationships, sharing, love, happiness, belonging, diversity, comfort, fun, security, and friendship. So the next trend we have here is human creativity. Again, as our lives become increasingly tech-centric, we're longing for experiences and products that possess the warmth and authenticity associated with human connection and creativity. We're growing wary of the soullessness of things like mass production and are embracing handmade goods, artisan foods, and creations that are the product of pure human talent and ingenuity, those things that, again, possess a human touch. So the DIY movement, which was once largely associated with home improvement, has recently expanded to encompass anything from gardening to crafts as more cash-strapped consumers find ways to cut costs and save money by becoming more self-sufficient. The movement is only growing as recession-era consumers seek value and meaning in the purchases that they do make. So as a result, there's been an explosion in the popularity of one-of-a-kind handmade goods that exude personal style and creativity. Craftsmanship and expertise are valued above all else as we search for unique experiences and authentic possessions with meaning. The emotional well-being associated with self-expression is also fueling our need for creativity, whether it's through DIY decor, vintage fashions, paint, yarn, or clay. More people than ever are tapping into some form of creativity as a means of personal fulfillment in a society where there are very few things that we can achieve that have tangible results. And our desire for independence from major commercialization and mass production has officially gone mainstream. Once the domain of artists and hipsters, indie now reflects the mood and agenda of modern culture in most developed countries today. And that's all leading to a craft boom. The craft market is booming as authentic, handcrafted goods and experiences continue to take precedence over all things mass-produced and material. Craft fairs are popping up across the globe, with crafters selling everything from handmade clothing and jewelry to things like glassware, art, toys, and even soap. We're also seeing the same thing play out in the food and beverage industry, where people are just getting more creative as they go local or simply cut out over-processed and packaged foods from their diets as a means of really staying happy and healthy. So as a result, we're seeing a rise in the popularity of artisan foods and boutique beverages that really offer a unique interpretation of our favorite foods and drinks. So the core values here include authenticity, creativity, quality, style, expertise, identity, personalization, DIY, exclusivity, and self-expression. So the next trend we have is around the human essence. Again, our 24/7 tech-centric lifestyles have us craving more downtime than ever. We're recognizing the need to slow down and unplug, even if it's just for a minute, to connect with ourselves and enjoy that which makes us human. As multimedia and consumer messaging continues to occupy every inch of our external space, vying for attention, we're looking inward to gain a sense of personal calm, creativity, and fulfillment. So that leads us to identity. There's really been a backlash against sameness. It's really been brewing for a while as more people influenced by our mass-marketed consumer culture search for a sense of personal identity. We're actively taking the time for personal reflection and reevaluation as we explore our passions through creative pursuits and lifelong learning. Our desire to express our individuality and creativity is only growing as we identify those things that set us apart and make us unique, leading to our increased celebration of differences and diversity in the world around us. It's also leading to our need for escapism. Over the last few years, our lives have become increasingly fraught with stress and fear associated with economic worries, pandemics, and natural disasters, all those things we keep talking about. So our need for escape from our daily routine and even our self-imposed frugality has become more than evident. We're craving relief through fun, laughter, and adventure that allows us to let loose and unwind. Adults and children alike are really incorporating more play into each day, with team sports and park attendance on the rise in most major cities. And of course, our search for happiness, it's as ubiquitous as it is aspirational. We each have our own definition of what true happiness entails, but most of us have realized that it has little to do with the things that we possess and everything to do with self-actualization and a life-work balance, trusted relationships, personal interests, and understanding of the greater good. And then there are sensory experiences. As life speeds up, our need for the most basic, pleasurable experiences is growing. We're increasingly looking for ways to reconnect with simple pleasures through earthly delights and indulgences, particularly through the senses of sight, sound, smell, taste, and feel. Indulging our senses gives us the opportunity to escape from our daily routine and a chance to relax and quite literally smell the roses. So core values here are experience, self-actualization, discovery, creativity, authenticity, growth, identity, freedom, style, and escape. When I'm talking about these core values, these are the concepts that we really want these images to convey. So then we come to the end where we shared a few human touch verticals, and when we talk about verticals, we really mean the subject categories where we think the trends from this brief will have the most impact. The top 5 that you see here we'll go into in a bit more detail: people and lifestyles, relationships, recreation and leisure, business and finance, health, wellness, and medicine. However, those are just the top 5 verticals from Human Touch. Additional verticals that were included in the brief were food and beverage, education, architecture, sports, holidays and special events, communication, and travel and vacation. So you can see that the macro brief really has far-reaching implications across any number of subject categories. So the first one is people and lifestyle. A lot of overlap from the trends that we discussed, but things like low-tech living, lifestyles based on creativity and individuality, enjoying active lifestyles, time with friends and family, connections between friends, coworkers and family, and simplified lifestyles. That's really what's driving people and lifestyles today. You just see the concepts listed below. Again, the types of concepts that we'd want lifestyle imagery to convey include simplicity, self-expression, diversity, style, customization, creativity, enjoyment, belief, unconventional, community, local, identity, and practical. And relationships, obviously some crossover with lifestyle there, but families spending time together, multi-generational families are very important. Authentic connections between children and parents, children of all ages really. Dating, friends out on the town, lunch and coffee breaks, friends sharing good times, and neighboring, getting to know one's neighbors. The concepts here, again, are similar: family, friendship, love, quality time, intimacy, fun, togetherness, caring, support, trust, comfort, romance, teamwork, belonging, spontaneity, passion, playfulness, and community. Then we have recreation and leisure ties into that craft slide that we discussed a few minutes ago, but just about the importance of showing people engaging in crafts and hobbies, whether it's big or small, exploring local urban and natural areas, human-powered transportation as we all get out of our cars and look for other means of transport, meetings of people sharing common interests, unique vacations and day trips, gardening, shopping, and healthy living. Concepts here are downtime, dreams, hobbies, ambition, discovery, adventure, freedom, nostalgia, aspiration, innovation, DIY, challenge, freedom, skill, learning, playfulness, and determination. And then business and finance. Small businesses and hobby-based careers are really taking off, especially in this economy. Part-time lifestyles that are just more flexible, stay-at-home moms and dads, again, flexible working and home situations, creative work environments, volunteering in nonprofit organizations, which ties into that aspect of community that keeps coming up, fundraising, and careers as extensions of lifelong learning. Concepts here are communication, flexibility, fulfillment, security, donating, the idea of charity, compassion, generosity, identity, trust, commitment, independence, quality, responsibility, authenticity, which I have to also say is just of the utmost importance when we're talking about visuals today, innovation, success, and trust. And then last but not least, we have health, wellness, and medicine, where it's really about natural beauty, unique healthy lifestyles, exercise as a means of escape, DIY, healthy foods, backyard and rooftop gardens and get-togethers, medical professionals as really advisors, having some me time, taking breaks from everyday stresses, and the concepts being wellness, happiness, competition, prevention, self-esteem, relaxation, spirituality, calm, balance, healthiness, responsibility, purity, quality, fresh, and choice.